We're going to come back to that because I do wonder also if Benavidez has a future at 175. We'll put a pin in that conversation in return. We're going to go now to our second preliminary fight on this card. Bit of a correction. I had previously said that the bout between Lipinec and Ривера was a lightweight bout. That is not true. It is a 10-round super lightweight bout. Apologies for the error. Sergey Lipinec, 17-2-1 with 13 KOs. Ривера, 24-1 with 14 KOs. But I got to tell you, that loss that Ривера had to Frank Martin, quite decisive as well, was it not? I wonder how he's going to rebound off of something like that. But Lipinec is not Frank Martin. They have completely different styles.
Yeah, he was really dominated by Martin. And after the fight, he had trouble making weight. He had PED issues. So we don't really know how he's going to look, at 140 pounds. Lipinec is a gutsy fighter. I got a lot of respect for Lipinec.
Yeah, he's been in the trenches, has he not?
Yes. Listen, he's a man. Because he's a smaller guy, man, and he fought Boots Ennis, and Ennis put a beating on him, man, and he fought to the very last breath, and trust me, you don't want to be a smaller guy letting Boots Ennis beat on you, man. And he did good for himself in that fight. Even though he didn't win.
As we mentioned, a 10-round super lightweight bout. 10 rounds scheduled anyway. I guess we'll see how far it goes. Lipinec in the blue and yellow, so a little bit of green there, and the white trunks for Ривера, who looks like Muhammad Ali quite intentionally. Yeah, we were also talking about this off air. I was telling you when Lipinec retired, Lamont Peterson.
Yes, I was at that fight.
Yeah, sort of a sad day in the D.C. area, but
I was at that fight.
He took a beating in that one too.
Yeah, he did. Lipinec is getting some good body shots in early, and Ривера likes to move, so we'll see if it slows him down a little bit. But he's thrown about 5 or 6 body punches already in the first round.
From your recollection and tape study, what does Michel Ривера do well?
I like him. He has a good set of legs. He has good conditioning. Again, I think he just couldn't figure out Frank Martin's southpaw stance, and Frank Martin kind of mixed it up a little bit. Sometimes he was attacking. Sometimes he was letting Ривера lead, and I think it threw him off a little bit. With Lipinec, it's not a matter of figuring him out. He's just going to have to, he's going to have to control the distance and use his jab and not let Lipinec just walk him over, because Lipinec fights one way, he brings it. So he's not going to have to figure that out too much.
Bit of a production note for all the folks watching this right now. You might note we don't have the actual round timer on the screen. We're told they're working on that, but we don't have it at the present moment. Apologies for that, but we'll do our best to give you as accurate coverage as we can.
And the last flag fight was 22-22.
Lipinec looks a little bit slow on the draw right now. Maybe he's just trying to warm up, but he looks a little bit slower than what I'm used to him being. Good jab to the body. Referee should warn Lipinec, though. He's hit Ривера in the back of the head about 3 or 4 times, and I don't know if Rivera's dropped his head so much. Lipinec is just looping his shot and hit them on the back of his head. You see? See right there? He's like looping it over.
Yeah, good call.
Referee should say something about that's a dangerous area to hit a guy.
First round in the books. This one went longer than the last preliminary contest. What did you like from both guys in that round?
Oh, it was more of a filling out round. If I had to pick one, I probably would give the edge to Lipinec, but it was more of a filling out round. But rounds like that are interesting because boxing fans, for some reason, rounds that a lot of stuff doesn't happen, they don't score them. Those rounds get scored also. So this round right here could be pivotal, and who's winning the fight. Because, like, you get into the 9th or 10th round, and then somebody has momentum and they win their rounds big by a more noticeable margin, then you kind of give that guy the round. But you forgot to score the first round. There's a winner of this round, even though not a lot happened, it doesn't mean that it's not a winner of the round.
It's just not decisive.
You got it. So it could be an even round. I probably would have gave it to Lipinec. I don't know what the punch stats are, but the judges don't have punch stats either. But I noticed that with fights, a lot of people, like, they don't score the uneventful rounds. And I'm like, well, that's a mistake because the scorecards have to get turned in after each individual round.
Yeah, being a judge, I'm not one of these guys who thinks that the judges are above criticism. I think that there's a lot of problems with judging. At the same time, you can also acknowledge it's not an easy practice.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not at all. And they're watching it from a different angle than we're seeing it on TV. They're influenced differently. It's not an easy job at all.
Lipinec, Breadman, he is able to get Rivera's back to the ropes relatively easily. He warns Ривера about the low blow.
Rivera's moving good this round. Thing about Lipinec is that he's loading up on his punches a little bit too much. He should take something off of him just to land good, clean shots. See, Ривера just complained about the back of the head shots.
There's a warning.
Just got a warning, but he's done it already about 4 or 5 times.
Ривера working behind the jab, trying to get Lipinec off of him, rolls under there.
He's making Lipinec miss a lot of shots, though.
Oof, great left hook there from Ривера.
I think Rivera's having a really good round. Lipinec looks a little slow with his punches. He's loading up a little bit too much. His corner has to, like, get him settled down or he'll just fall into this groove of just allowing himself to get outboxed because he's loading up too much. He needs to go behind the jab and stop trying to land everything big.
Changing levels.
Ривера has him timed now.
Yeah, a significantly better round here. For Ривера. Ooh. Excuse me. Great jab to the body, then he goes right upstairs. Yeah, he's starting to land and then move right after it. Now he's putting combinations together.
Yep. Now he's feeling comfortable. And that's why, you know, when people say stuff like let's say Lipinec was a world champion and Ривера, you know, is the challenger. And they say, well, you got to take the title from the champion or, like, go forward. No, you don't. You just have to outpoint him. It doesn't. Like, if this fight goes the same way it's been going and Ривера boxes the way he just boxed, you telling me that he's not winning this fight because he's not coming forward? That's one of the more ridiculous things that gets repeated in boxing. It just drives me crazy. What do you mean you have to take the title from the champion or take it from anybody? You fight the style that's more conducive to you winning.
People don't understand. Like, once the combatants enter the ring,
yes,
no one is champion anymore.
Got
it's
that
up
right.
for grabs.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Like, you can outbox a guy. You don't have to come forward.
Right.
You know, just because one is more aesthetically pleasing, that doesn't mean it's not effective.
Right.
He just outboxed him that round by a lot. Lipinec is going to have to do something to adjust to this guy moving like this, or he's going to get outboxed.
I do know that certain athletic commissions have tried to address this with the sister sport of MMA. They have made it very clear that forward movement will not win you the round. They do value what they call effective aggression, but that if you're backing up and you're jabbing someone's face, they will clearly weigh that more heavily. I don't know if the commissions that it's the same commissions in charge. I don't know if they've modernized boxing judging or refereeing, frankly, in terms of how it's adjudicated more recently.
These guys should have, like, clinics and seminars every year in case there's a different criteria that has that's arrived, in the sport. Lipinec just threw a good jab to Rivera's body. That's a good shot for him. Because a guy that's bouncing up and down like that, it's going to be hard for him to defend his body. He threw a nice jab to his body. But Lipinec's feet looks just a little too slow for me right now.
Oh, great left hand from Ривера. It also looks like, I mean, obviously he's getting crowded at times, but in general, Ривера has a much better sense of what his appropriate distance is at this time.
Lipinec should also try to double the jab. He's taking one big step, and if he misses, Rivera's just turning him.
I'm noticing that Rivera's only going clockwise. I mean, here he is. As soon as I say that, he now changes. But in general, up to this point, he's been typically going clockwise. Would you, obviously, if it's working, why change it? But do you like it more when there's a
I think that
multi-directional?
A right-handed fighter who bounces the way he does is going to go to his left about 80 or 90% of the time. He patterns himself after Muhammad Ali, and if you watch Muhammad Ali, he constantly circled to his left. It's just the way the human body is. If you're a right-handed fighter and you're bouncing on your toes and trying to punch, it's extremely difficult to move to your right and do that. Very, very difficult. You can bounce that way just to kind of shake the guy up a little bit, but for the most part, you're going to go to your left because the way your lead hand is set up is going to be really, really hard. He just did a really good job of doing his sliding, but he's
off the uppercut. Yep.
But he's going to come back to his left eventually because it's just much more comfortable. Lipinec should be working right there. He's going to tie him up, take him to the center of the ring, and do it all over again. Round's about to be over.
Three rounds in the books here in this super lightweight contest. Looks to me like there's still plenty of competitive spirit left in Lipinec, but he seems to be a little bit out of answers.
He's not fighting the right fight tactically. He's walking to the guy. He's not double jabbing. He's not letting his hands go. When he does corner Ривера, he's going to get outboxed and beat up if he doesn't make a tactical adjustment. Ривера looks good coming off the layoff.
He does. And we'll see how his cardio holds. We'll see if the stamina is there late. If it ends up going that late, we shall see.
Probably should have moved up a little bit sooner, you know, if he was having that much trouble making 135 pounds. He seems like a tall kid.
He's certainly lengthier and rangier than Lipinec.
Yes.
You can see when they tie up,
it's considerable.
Dimensions are greater. Round 4 here from the Michelob Ultra Arena in the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nevada, I should say. They get bitter when you call it Nevada. The people who live there.
Lipinec looks really, really slow.
Oh!
Yeah, he looks really slow. He's so easy to time, and he looks slow.
Beautiful right hand from Ривера, and then he turns him, pushes him into the ropes.
Yep. He's going to take the center of the ring, and he's going to start bouncing all over again.
Yeah, he's just timing his entries, and he's kind of just walking into him, right?
Lipinec is walking at the same speed, fighting at the same rhythm, and he's not breaking it up. So at this point, Ривера has him timed. Ривera is throwing a very, very sneaky right uppercut. I wouldn't be surprised if he scored a knockdown with that shot at some point. Good right hand by Lipinec.
Looks like one got through.
Yeah, that's the best punch of the fight so far for him.
And congratulations, we now have the ring timer on the screen. Yeah, these big giant steps from Lipinec.
He's just tactically just fighting an awful fight, man.
It either lets Rivera escape or counter, and either way, it's bad for him.
And you can see the punches coming a mile away. He's not fainting. That's why he's getting picked apart so much. And the biggest mistake he's making, he's the shorter guy with the shorter reach, and he's punching from too far out. He's loading up from far out, and Rivera can see everything. If he brought his feet with him and got a little bit closer, then Rivera wouldn't have so much time to avoid the punches because they're coming from a closer distance. But he's throwing big shots from really, really far out, and Rivera can just see it, and he's just making a miss just right there.
And it's single shots, too, right?
Yes.
He's not throwing a combination.
Well, that's all you can throw when you're loading up from that far away. Right. That's the issue.
Right.
If he brought him, if he got a little bit closer to him and brought his feet a little closer to him, he could run off a 2-3 punch combination. But when you're punching that big from that far out, it's only going to be one big shot. Again, he just missed another big right hand. Even his jab, you can see it a mile away.
If you're a shorter fighter fighting someone who moves a lot, you're telling me what? They got to double up on the jab. What else could Lipinec do to tighten this up a little bit?
Bring his feet with him. He's kind of like being lazy. So it takes more energy to do it this way. But instead of throwing that big shot from so far away, you slide up on the guy with small steps. So instead of punching from maybe 5 feet away, you get up about 3 feet on him. Make Rivera punch and then open up. Because when you punch, there's always an opening when you punch. So Lipinec is being impatient. He's throwing these huge, big shots from far away, and all Rivera's doing is just bouncing, sliding out, going back to the center of the ring, and peppering them with a jab in the right hand. He's just rinsing, repeating the same thing over and over again. That's 3 rounds in a row, and possibly the first round, because the first round was one of those
coin toss.
It's a coin toss type of round. I favor Lipinec a little, but if Rivera got that round, that's 4 rounds in a row.
We have 4 rounds in the books. Here comes round 5.
And he's not really carrying Rivera fast either. Like, Rivera is moving, but he's moving at a comfortable pace. It's not a frenetic pace that he can't. You know, he can box like this all night because he's having so much success.
Right, it's not duress.
You got it.
It's smooth.
You got it. Where David is coming and he's putting you under mental pressure. Good shot.
Great jab from Rivera.
He switched southpaw right there.
Yep.
You know, and this is not condoned, but Lipinec might want to get a little dirty to slow this guy down. Fight in the clinches. You know, not so much illegal tactics, but more like rough tactics. Hitting in the clinches, banging the arms, banging the hips. He got to do something to turn the course of this fight around.
Oh, just looks to me, not quite, but that everything Lipinec throws, Rivera's seeing.
You can see it a mile away. Uppercut just got through.
He's good on changing the timing, too.
Good right hand. Listen, Lipinec is acting like those punches aren't bothering him, but all punches hurt. Eventually, he's going to start getting to him. You can't just walk in there and just keep getting beat on like that.
I got to say, now they're starting to accumulate.
Yep.
Now he's starting to get, this is turning into target practice.
Yep. It's like dropping water on concrete. Eventually, you'll crack it. See that uppercut again?
Beautiful uppercut from Rivera.
And let me tell you something else. Rivera's getting more comfortable now. He's getting a little bit more flat-footed, and he's digging into his shots a little bit more. If Rivera starts backing Lipinec up, this is over with.
Coming right over the top of Lipinec's shots there.
And guess what? Lipinec is expecting the shot to come over the top, and eventually he's going to bring that same shot up underneath. And he's not going to see it. See it?
Right. Oh, huge left hook. Lipinec ate it.
Lipinec has a good chin, but man, you don't want to display it all the time.
It looks to me, if I can just sort of tell from body language, looks a little frustrated.
Those shots are starting to have an effect. They're not like concussing them and buzzing them all around the ring, but they're going to start adding up. See that uppercut again?
Yes, and
he's not seeing it because he's bending his head down trying to brace for the shot over the top, and Rivera's doing a good job of hiding it and shooting the uppercut.
Again, Redman, would Lipinets benefit from like faking or feinting at all as well?
He hasn't fainted at all.
We're halfway through this fight. I haven't seen one.
Poor tactical fight. He hasn't fainted at all. If he could just feint him, Ривера has to respect his power. If he could just feint him and just push him back in the corner and just let his hands go, he could give the impression that he's outworking them and start getting some rounds in his favor, but he won't even feint him. He's just loading up with big right hands and missing over and over again. He's fighting a very, very poor fight.
I mean, we don't really know what happened in his training camp or what's happening in his personal life. Is there any way to know what we could attribute this kind of plan to?
He could be declining.
Yeah.
You know, it happens. You know, this may not be the same guy who beat Lamont Peterson 4 years ago. You know, it might not be the same guy who fought Mikey Garcia and gave him a good fight. He was a pound-for-pound guy, you know. Tom is undefeated. He could just be declining. I don't know anything about his camp. You know, from everything I hear, he's a really hard worker, but he could just be a declining fighter.
We are halfway done with this super lightweight contest. Round 6 here, kicking off. So we were asking before the fight, Redman, about whether or not, or rather, how would Michel Rivera look, given all the uncertainty? Boy, I got to say, looks great.
Good. He looks good. You never know, though. You never know when a guy has that kind of loss. And, you know, like I say, he had the PED issues. They talked about him having trouble making weight. 135, it could have burnt him out. But he looks great, you know, this fight.
Lipinets still coming forward. Not much of a change tactically from what we've seen up to this point.
Guy's just using the whole ring.
That's a little bit better from Lipinets.
Good shot. Very good shot. Very good shot.
Oh, but now they're trading. But it did look like Lipinets got about a 2 or 3 punch combo in there. Yeah, a big one for it.
He did. He's not, Rivera's not tying him up for no reason. He's tying him up because he was a little buzzed. Referee's taking too long, though. He's stopping Lipinets' momentum. Lipinets been getting outboxed for 5 rounds, and he finally lands the big shots, and he want to get a guy a lecture. Just break him and let him get back to work. Talk to him in between rounds. You can tell there's a difference in Rivera's body language. Maybe Lipinets can capitalize on it. Lipinets is a pretty strong puncher.
Yeah, Lipinets is getting time just walking right in to these punches.
He's having a good round right here, though. Good jab. See, rounds like this is what separates good fighters from great fighters. If Ривера loses this round, and good shot. Ривera loses this round, right? The next round, guys who go to the next level, they take control of that round. They don't let a guy like Lipinets back into the fight and let him build up his momentum. Good shot by Ривera. He's doing exactly what I said. You can't let this guy who you've been dominating get back into the fight and change the momentum. And then you'll see a guy in a fight like this, and then he'll have like a controversial decision or something like that. You're supposed to... It's not the worst thing in the world to lose a round, but you don't want to let this Lipinets get 2 rounds in a row like this and kind of build his momentum up and get himself back in the fight, because his confidence and everything will change and your body language will show. And the judges, again, they're human beings. They'll start scoring those same rounds against you that you were winning earlier. It's really important for Ривера in this next round to take control of the fight the way he had before. Because if he doesn't, the one thing about Lipinets, he does not lack heart and he doesn't lack experience. He's going to feed off of that down the stretch, and he'll be a tough fight for him down the stretch if he doesn't take control of this next round right here.
However, if you were in the corner of Lipinec, how would you tell him to capitalize on perhaps a bit of a better performance in that last frame?
I would tell him we have to win this next round. I'll be honest with him. I'll say, you don't win the next round, you're gonna lose the decision. Come out, hands up, stay in the boxing stance. If you look at him real carefully, Luke, he's walking foot over foot like you walk down the street instead of staying in a boxing stance. If you stay in a boxing stance, you can get off a split second quicker because you're already in your stance. The way he's fighting is he's walking.
It's a little bit better.
Yep. Do you see his body language? You know why his body language looks like that and he's fighting so hard? Because he just won the last round, in my opinion. He feels like he's in the fight. That's why you can't let a guy get confidence. It's really important to try to dominate as much as you can against a certain level of guy because you're going to give him confidence. Ривera has to take charge this round right here, or you're going to have a tough fight on his hands down the stretch because Lipinec does have championship pedigree. He was a world champion. Good combination by Ривera.
Great combination punching from Ривера here.
Looks like he heard what I said.
Ooh.
Lipinec landed a good hook.
A lot of these shots are wild and undisciplined, though. This is like the second or third warning from the referee.
Yep. He's definitely throwing a chopping right hand behind the head.
But there we go, back to Lipinec lunging.
He's reaching from two good uppercut. This round right here is up for grabs.
A minute 20 left in the 7th of 10 rounds scheduled. He's got to get off the corner.
Lipinec should try to land a left hook a little bit more because Ривera has his right hand, Tom. He's been overshooting the right hand. He should try to land his left hook a little bit more. He kind of misses almost every right hand, but he's able to get some good hooks through.
A spirited contest here in the 7th round in this super lightweight contest.
All because of that last round, he let Lipinec get a little bit of momentum. You asked me something else that Lipinec could do? Lipinec should shoot his right hand to the body, like towards Rivera's hip, because Ривера keep a good right hand to the body. You see that shot?
Yes.
Because what it'll do is it'll make his left hip sore because he's going to his left the whole time. It'll make his left hip sore and it'll make him go back to the right side. You understand what I'm saying?
Looks like you may have thrown one just now.
Yep, and it'll kind of like isolate him a little bit and keep him in front of him. He should throw a right hand to the body, a looping right hand right to his hip. Seemed like he heard me because that's about the second one that he threw. Because you're right, Ривera goes to the left every time. Or mostly every time.
7th round in the books. We have 3 left here in this super lightweight contest. I got to tell you, I thought Ривера was walking away with it, but it has become more interesting here.
Boxing
a better round than the last one for Ривера, but still not. Lipinec is not completely out of it.
That was a swing round right there. But if we look at the judges' cards individually, I'm sure the scorecards are going to be all over the place for the 7th round. Let's make note of that because that's the kind of round, that's the swing round. It's hard to tell who won that round. Ривera did have a better round than he had in the 6th, but Lipinec also had a good round. But a lot of times, rounds have a carryover effect. So the judges may have seen Lipinec have a good round in the 6th round. They say, okay, he had another good round in the 7th round. And they may have disregarded that Ривera actually performed a little bit better that round. You know, so the fight could be getting a little bit, it could be getting a little close now.
Round 8 kicks off here.
Lipinec has a horrible habit of punching from so far out.
So far, 30 seconds in, Rivera's having a great round.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Rivera's pretty good at punching on the move.
To what extent is the way in which Ривера moves, he is intentionally walking in a direction to lead Lipinec into a trap?
I just think that this is a style that he's comfortable with fighting. He thinks he's Ali. He has the Ali trunks. He has Ali on his trunks. He has the black and white. He has a haircut like Ali. So it's just a style that he's comfortable fighting. And Ali bounced a lot and moved in and out. Good hook by Ривера. I don't know if it's an intentional trap. I just think that that's how he fights. You know, a guy putting pressure on him. He bounces and he moves. But I've seen Ривера work on the inside. He's actually not a bad inside fighter. I think he's not fighting that fight because Lipinec is a strong fighter and he wants to give him some movement. Lipinec slowed down a little bit this round. He kind of put a lot into the 6th and 7th round to get back into the fight. You could tell he slowed down a little bit. See, he misses the right hand every time.
Right.
He just has that. Ривера has a radar on his right hand. Good. If he shoots it to the body a little bit, you won't keep overshooting it. Don't forget about that right uppercut that I've been telling you about that Rivera's trying to line Lipinec up for.
Also, Rivera's done a great job this round minimizing his amount of back exposure to the ropes. Here he is pushed up against him, and then he shoots underneath the armpit.
He's controlling Lipinec now. He controlled him this round. A lot of times when guys are down in the fight and they make a really, really hard push, they kind of run out of gas a little bit because they got to fight so hard just to get back into the fight. So I'm looking at Lipinec now, and he's definitely fatigued from his output in the 6th and 7th round.
Good round for Michel Ривера. 2 left. That's the end of the 8th. Schedule 10 in this super lightweight contest. I'm going to say at this point, we don't know. I'm going to say at this point, it's probably Rivera's fight to lose. Probably.
I agree.
We shall see. One never knows, but it does seem that way. And we look at the highlights here. Dig to that body.
That straight right hand to the body is a good shot.
And he frames off of it first before he hits him. And then does the great job clinching on the inside and gets away. Lipinec, I will say, looks a little frustrated but undeterred. And these right hands, some of those punches just missing. Great job by both gentlemen here. But for sure, Rivera's had just a better overall fight.
Ривера looks good tonight.
He does. 9th round here from Las Vegas, Nevada. From the Mandalay Bay Michelob Ultra Arena. Measures and fires, almost scored a nice right hand.
One of the things that gets off on an older fighter is their punch selection. Their knockout percentages go down because their punch selection becomes poor. For whatever reason, their mind doesn't react in time to throw the proper punches at the proper times, and their punch selection is just off. In Lipinec, there's a lot of work to the body that could be open. And he's headhunting and overshooting with the right hand constantly. That's one of the signs that you see in older fighters. They can't get certain degree of punches off because they just their mind is just not as sharp as it was. See how many right hands he's missing? Mm-hmm. He's lucky that this guy is not countering the right hand. He's just turning out on the right hand. He's lucky, like a James Toney type of fighter. He rides the right hand and comes back with a right hand of his own. Lipinec would be on the seat of the canvas. He's lucky he's just making him miss it.
Sergey Lipinec just 4 months away from being 35 years of age. Conversely, Michel Rivera, almost 26.
I'm impressed with Rivera's conditioning. He's been bouncing on his toes all night long, and he hasn't ran out of gas.
It's a lot of stick and move.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's a hard style to deal with if the guy knows how to implement it. It's not easy to deal with fighting a guy that's hitting you on the move, and you have to hit him on the move.
By the way, I didn't get to it at the top, but a 2-inch height advantage for Rivera, and then a almost 4-inch reach advantage.
Another big right hand miss.
Oh. Man, Rivera's just bouncing, literally bouncing off the ropes and ricocheting back into action.
Lipinec should be throwing that right hand to the body, round and straight, right to the body, and then bring a left hook upstairs.
Great left hand.
Yeah, he has him tamed now. He's tamed him now. He has him tamed now. It's just going to be a matter of if the judges respect, him winning the fight without coming forward so much.
9 rounds in the books. We have 1 here left to go for the preliminary card here. It appears, from what we can tell, Michel Rivera is going to get the dub if he can avoid a knockout. I don't even know if he has to win this round, to be honest with you.
I don't think he does, but he'd be...
It'd be foolish not to try,
It'd be foolish not to try. Yeah, you can't. Scoring the fight is too subjective, and you don't want to get into that, especially at the stage that he's at. He's not a superstar, so he's not going to just get credit for rounds that he didn't earn. He needs to go win this round. Even if he's still boxing, he needs to let his hands go and win this round, just in case there's some funny scoring. You never know in boxing.
You know a fight I rewatched recently? Trinidad and De La Hoya. There was a case where a guy took a little bit of the last part of the fight off, and it cost him quite considerably. He was a star.
He overdid it, but I still think De La Hoya won that fight. I think it's a myth that he lost the last 4 rounds. I think he lost the last 3 rounds.
I see.
You
Nevertheless, he did take his foot off the gas.
Yeah, he did. But that was a lot of the pressure that Trinidad was putting on him, too. He tried to say he thought he was winning, but Trinidad puts a lot of mental pressure on him.
Sure does. All right, 10th and final round here between Sergey Lipinec and Michel Rivera. It's probably stoppage or nothing for Lipinec.
It's hard to stop a guy in the 10th round. Yeah, old trainer once told me, if you got a guy down in the fight, tell him to go for it in the round before the last round instead of the last round. Because in the last round, your sense of awareness is so up, you get a surge of energy. It's hard to score a knockout in the last round.
How frustrating is it to fight a guy who's not just moving, but just intercepting your movements continuously?
It's one of the hardest styles to ever deal with in boxing. You just have to have tremendous legs to deal with it. But it's not easy to deal with.
It has to be frustrating as well.
A true sticking mover, like, people always argue with me, like, how would Ali do today? I say just fine. You think these big, slow guys can cut the ring off against him and deal with that in and out movement like that? It's not easy. It's not easy to deal with. There was a middleweight in the 90s, 80s and 90s. His name was Sambu Kalambe. And he was a stick and mover like this. And he gave the great Mike McCallum his first loss. Ooh.
Good right hand. Oh!
They just traded right hands.
Big punches from both fighters here. About a minute left in the 10th and final round here.
Yeah, they trade. I think that shot bothered Rivera a little bit. Good uppercut from Rivera.
I'll say this for Lipinec. Stubborn.
He's a dog.
He's quite stubborn.
He has a lot of grit. He don't stop trying. That's all you can ask for in a guy. He don't stop trying.
I don't know if he had all the answers, but he certainly had all the willingness.
Yes, he did. He's starting to put that right hand to the body, but it's a little too late. Oh, good one upstairs. Now, see, I'll tell you something funny. Let's say Lipinec won the 6th and 7th, right? And let's say he won the first and he won this round. That's 4 rounds in a 10-round fight. That's 6-4 for Ривера. And if the judge sees any other swing rounds, then we got a funny scoring of a fight. That's why I said he needs to come out and win this round, because I think this is a Lipinec round.
It certainly appears it might be.
The body language looks a little funny on Ривера right now.
Whew. Exhausting contest here.
Yes.
Between two very talented fighters.
Yep. Good fight.
We're going to await the judges' scorecards here. We will go to the ring announcer to get those when they're ready. I'm going to agree with you. I think it's going to be something like 6-4, 7-3.
96, 94.
Something like that.
97, 93. But that's why you can't take your foot off the gas. I don't think he took his foot off the gas. I just think he got a little fatigued in the last round. I think he would have tried to win the round by a bigger margin if he could have, but I think he expended a lot of energy. That bouncing in and out style, you don't see a lot of guys doing that anymore because it takes a lot of leg endurance to do that. A lot of leg endurance. So you don't see guys try to fight that style that often. You'll see them do it for a round or two, then they'll come down off their feet.
Interesting.
I think the most elite guy that does that these days is maybe Dimitri Bivol. And Usyk is good at it, but he's a southpaw, but he stays on the balls of his feet and he probes in and out. But it's not easy to deal with, and it's not easy to do either.
Footwork wins fights.
But not just footwork. That particular footwork is a lot of. It's almost like you're skipping rope and punching at the same time for 36 minutes. You know what I mean? You can't skip rope flat-footed.
Right.
Like I know you do some combat sports training. You can't skip rope flat-footed. So imagine skipping rope the whole time and you're punching.
Here we go.
And Judge Left Helmet sees it 96-94. All 3 judges in agreement for a winner by unanimous decision, Michel.
That's what we got, right?
Yep. There you have it.